Hello YouTube and welcome to Full Dottle, a channel dedicated to tamping topics such as pipes, tobacco, lure, and more. I am your host, the Bearded Briarman, and without further ado, let's get lit. Welcome back YouTube. On this episode of Full Dottle, I'm going to be reviewing Cornell Diehl's Bayou Night. Now, with all of my reviews, the information that I gather will be contained on the website tobaccoreviews.com. I will be reviewing this tobacco out of my Savinelli 673 KS Roman Lucite, also known as the Friday Savinelli. So, let's dive in. On tobaccoreviews.com, it says that this is a Scottish type blend. Its components are Burley, Latakia, Oriental Turkish, Perique, and Virginia. The Virginias contained in this blend are stoved. It is a ribbon cut. I jar all of my tobaccos to keep them from drying out. I use the amber mason jars because they are UV protected. The Full Dottle Smoking Lounge is a window room, and so the tobaccos that I used to have stored in clear mason jars were still being damaged by the sunlight that came into the room. So I used the UV mason jars that way they are protected. So let's see the jar note here. All right. You can obviously smell the vinegary tartness of the Periques. Has a slight sweetness to it. The Virginias come through pretty strong. You can tell the sweetness of the Virginias, but the stoving of them has obviously deepened their aroma. That muskiness, the dry floral aroma of the Orientals is coming through. The nuttiness of the Burleys plays in pretty well with the Virginias, but they are distinguishable. The Latakias in there are very, very light. It takes a lot for me to be able to distinguish that one and isolate it from the rest of the bouquet. Let's get lit here. Charring light, I'll tamp it back down just lightly here. Now let's go Full Dottle. This blend right off the bat, and I mean lead singer, death metal vocals, is the Perique. Tamped a little too much. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is a very heavy Perique. Right off the bat, you get that tannic mouthfeel from the Perique. You can gather the figgy sweetness, a dark plum sweetness from the Perique. Very full bodied blend. The stoved Virginias, just like the bouquet, are much deeper. You can still get the grassy, toasted bread. Very light zest, like a citrusy lemon zest. But they're more but it's a very deep earthiness to it. The Virginias and the Burleys interplay a lot here. A lot. The nutty earthiness of the Burleys, that woody earthiness of the Burleys, and that darker, more robust, almost like a, I hate to use the word tangy, but almost a tangy undertone from the Virginias, and then the nuttiness of the Burleys interplay together quite nicely. I'm not a Perique fan, so it's a little too Perique forward for me, but the Orientals, you can gather the, it's like a an herbal, dry floralness to it, just like the bouquet, but not quite as pronounced. And for me, yeah, you definitely get that muskiness from the Orientals. For me, Orientals, for some reason, have this hint of almost like a fungus to me. I don't want that to sound bad. It's not bad. I can't think of any other word to describe this flavor, but it's fungal to me. I can just barely taste the Latakia. The Latakia is so light. The Latakia is so light in this, and the Perique is so loud. You can catch it, but it takes a lot of work to be able to find the Latakia in this, for me. It's burning very cool. The Perique is absolutely explosive in this. If you don't like Perique, you're not going to like this blend. Overall, I would say it's a relatively complex blend. I would not give it a 5 out of 5 stars on complexity. The only reason is the Latakia is so light in it, it takes far too much effort for me to be able to distinguish it. And so, it just doesn't get a clean sweep on the complexity. However, 4 out of 5 stars is not bad at all. Definitely not an all-day smoke. The peppery spiciness, like a white pepper of the Perique, is just explosive. I mean, it's huge. But don't get me wrong, and I don't want to give the wrong impression. The Perique is loud and it's up front, and if you don't like it, it's going to give you one. But the Orientals, the Virginias, and the Burleys play very well together, and they are there. Not hidden, but they're more subdued. But they are bringing up the Perique. They are playing with it and bringing themselves forward. Now, the way my review process goes, I kind of take the advice of the Artful Codger. Just recently, the Artful Codger released a video, and he said, when you try a blend that you don't like, don't give up on it. Continue to try it, and maybe it'll grow on you. Well, my review process kind of goes like that. It's not that I don't like the blend, and it's not like I don't like the blends that I try. However, I want to be able to try it for at least a few days. Try it, not dry it. I want to be able to try it at least for a few days before I dive in and try to give it a review. I want to be able to take the time and actually dissect it and distinguish each and every component of the blend, and that way I can give you a fuller review. My experience with this blend. As it hits about the midway point of the bowl, this blend transforms a little bit. The Periques start to slow themselves. They start to diminish a little bit. And the sweetness of the Virginias and that herbal, dry, floral accent from the Orientals start to come more forward. The nuttiness of the Burleys are there. They're just not as much as the Orientals. If I had to guess, I would say that the Orientals, there's a larger component of Orientals here than there are of Burleys. Overall, it's not a bad smoke. Believe it or not, I actually will be purchasing more of this. The spice from the Perique is very satisfying after a meal to me. Overall, you can almost catch a bittersweetness, kind of like a bittersweet chocolate. I would not consider this a blend for a beginner smoker. I think it would be a little overwhelming. And for those that are sensitive to Perique, I don't think you're going to enjoy it as much. The burleys really came through right there. The burleys and the Orientals. This blend, it surprises me every time I smoke it. I've smoked almost a full tin of it, not quite, but almost a full tin of it. And every time I smoke it, I get a little more. It plays a role. Now, I guess you could basically try to conclude that might be because as you smoke the jar down, you might grab more of one component than the other in each bowlful. But either way, every time I smoke it, I get just a little more play of one or the other of the components. I'm about halfway through. Every time I smoke it, halfway through the bowl, it extinguishes itself. I'm not saying that's a characteristic of this blend or my smoking style, I don't know, but I always like to let it cool for just a second and then relight it. And when I do, this blend is like a chameleon. It doesn't change completely. You would still know that it's Bayou Night. However, it transforms enough that it gives you another round almost. It's like you had to take a little break, the bell rang, you sat in your corner, you got a drink. Your corner man was able to patch you up a little bit. And now the bell rings, and let's go back in. Every time. Every time. On this second light, the Orientals will be the first thing you notice if you can get past the Perique. The Perique is going to stay in the front the entire time, but they will diminish. In that second light, your Orientals are going to come through. It becomes a lot sweeter. The Virginias and the Burleys play in a lot stronger in the second light. I would almost be curious if I load only a half a bowl, what would happen? Or in another pipe shape, I guess. At any rate, a decent smoke. Just came to me, it's not a Scottish style blend, it's actually an American style blend, according to Tobacco Reviews. It has more Perique than the traditional Scottish blend. The Orientals really come through after that second light. Anyway, folks, that's going to do it for this episode of Full Dottle. I hope you enjoyed my review. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Tell me you love me. In the comments, write how you liked my format, if there's something you'd like to see me change on it, or if this is the way you'd like me to do it. In the coming episodes, I'm going to start some basics and beginner videos. So stay tuned for that. And until next time we meet, I bid you farewell and happy piping. See you later, everybody. Have you enlisted in the Full Dottle platoon yet? It's easy, just click the subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified as soon as I upload the next episode.